Hello and welcome to Comics and Variety, Indie Comic Stream number 11. I am your host, Doc Hogg, and this is my exciting and passionate co-host, your boy, Great Lott.
Hi.
Alrighty, a couple of quick things here. Just want to mention, as always, and when do I not mention this? That my comic book Tilt is still funding, and I have over a third of more than a third of the campaign left, but I am over 2/3 funded, so only less than a third to go to get funded. So I have also dropped the price on some of the very top tiers by 25%. Those are the ones that enable you to be drawn into issue 2. So do check it out. The link is below. The link is also below for the Oswald Chronicles. Sorry about the resolution there, by JD Calderon. The link to that is also in the description below. We are going to have JD on in a little bit to discuss the Oswald Chronicles with us. And yeah, tonight we're going to be discussing Legends of the Lone Wolf and also Mythics. Do you have a preference for which one you want to do first?
Let's do Mythics, and I'm really interested to know what you thought of this book.
Okay, let's do Mythics, and yeah, let's see here. Alrighty, yeah, and alrighty, Mythics. It's written by Matt Trinh, and I believe illustrated by Beth Varney's the illustrator. Correct?
Correct.
Alrighty, yeah. Well, tell us just a little bit about the book first, and then we can get started on what what we think of it.
Okay. All right. So it's starring the main character. Her name is Elphia Fletcher, and she's part of an order that they try to keep things that go bump in the night from doing horrible things. And they exist in a universe called the Mythoverse, and they're trying to kind of stay under the radar of some other people in this universe. And I don't know. I think we could probably get at the action here. And one of the things I will say is that usually there's a so in Magic there's a term called familiar. So like it's if I'm a wizard and I have a turtle, that's my familiar, right? And it's usually a talking turtle, that kind of thing. There is a character here next to Elphia that's her familiar who can take human form. So just so you know, that's like a turtle taking human form. There you
go. Alrighty. Well, overall, I like this comic book. I just, there were a few minor things about it that I didn't like, but overall, well, okay. The big one was the cliffhanger here. It just wasn't really much of a way to end the comic. It just kind of seemed like, well, hey, somebody we know is showing up, kind of in almost interrupting us in the middle of our sleep here. And actually, that's okay, but you have to give some expression on their face here, like, whoa, wait, what are you doing here? Like, so that we're looking at it going, oh wait, there's something really going on here. What is it? I want to, and hence I'd like to see the next issue. So that was one, and the other were these is that I got confused on occasion because of the position of the dialogue bubbles. Like, for example, here it says, raising a baby, it's harder than you think, Maria. Using my real name, now I know you're generous. And he says the former here, and that's where I started, because one, he's on the left, and second, his dialogue bubble is higher. But then you go over, or just messing with me. Oh, okay. Well, if this was a little higher up here and his was lower, then I'd know to start with hers, and then it would, it wouldn't, it would flow. I would know, oh, he's saying the former, and I'm not, it hasn't knocked me out of the comic. Kind of the same here. Perhaps the child in question is a changeling. I mean, his question is responding to that. This dialogue box should just, a bubble should be just a little higher. So I know to start with that first. If you're going to line up, if the character on the right is going to be the first one talking in a panel, the dialogue bubble has to go a little higher than the one on the right. So those are my main problems. And the other problem was it did feel a little on the thin side. I just, it ended too abruptly. I'll say this though. There is a good plot here, and Althea, I think that's her name, she's caught between the witches and the paladins. It's like the paladins are after the witches, I guess, and are going to, kind of walk over anybody who gets in their way. And so she feels like she's being caught in the middle, and she doesn't know what to, she's feeling her inexperience, I guess, with that. And that's kind of a good weakness to have. It'll be interesting to see how she handles a situation that she's very new to. So I like that about the book, and I would like to see another issue, the follow-up issue. It just, felt a little thin, and there were a few problems with the way it ended and the dialogue bubbles. So over to you.
Okay. First, I have to declare, and not a financial interest, but I do share a publisher with the Mythics. Wicked publishes Movie Men. They also publish Mythics and the other Mythoverse titles. Secondly, you are absolutely right in your criticisms, and the dialogue criticism, or the lettering criticism, is especially on point. The other thing is that I think, now just imagine this, the last page, right? Imagine if, I'm not saying they had to have been like really getting it on, but what if they were sort of working up to that, and she popped in there? I think that would have been better, know? Like, I think that would have been, more of a, it's a surprise in more way than one, So I think that they should have done that. There's a story. So this was funded, the Mythoverse. It's 3 titles. It's Changeling, it's Mythics, and it's Adobe Kroger. And Adobe Kroger is one of the paladins that they're talking about here. They were funded at the same time. I want to say they took in $8,000 for all 3 comics. Could have been 6. That's just my recollection. And there were major problems with how the money was allocated, and this comic got the short end of the stick. He had to go through and cut pages down like crazy and try to do what he could to make it work with a smaller page count than what he expected, right? And then he made some pretty bad mistakes, and so there was a review that just savaged him, that just said, look, I think this is good art. There's things about this comic that are promising, but let me just count down all the things that I do not like about this, that are problematic, as they say, the kids these days are saying. And Matt Trinh said, "Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that was bad." And he said, I can't add pages to this issue, but I can do a script fix. And what you have seen, the digital version, is the script fixed version. And the fact that was all you called out says to me that he did a pretty effective job of fixing that script on the fly.
Well, if he did, I would certainly have to say, kudos to him. It is because overall I did like it, and those are the only real problems I have with it. I mean, maybe there was one area where it seemed like hello, Bianca, how are you, sir?
Keep fighting the zombies.
There you go. That's what I was gonna say. And yeah, hey JD, if you're watching, shoot me an email at the email I put in the chat there. Because for some reason Twitter right now is not. I couldn't send a link to Jeremy via Twitter either, so I had to email it to him. Shoot me your email. Send an email to that email, to my email, and I will email you the link. so we can get you in here and you can talk about the Oswald Chronicles. All righty. Yeah, no, maybe there was one instance in there where it looked like I assumed it was some sort of witches who are, plotting something. It was maybe a little unclear, but you kind of figure, they're up to something. And so, but overall, I mean, it was good. And I mean, the art here is, I like this. Are these demon eyes? Or these just, that looks like a torch? Doesn't make it entirely clear. They're talking about demons here, but this is nice art. I mean, it leaves you guessing a little, he says the demon lords here. It leaves you guessing a little bit. I kind of like that.
Yeah. You don't have to spell everything out for people, but you have to spell enough out. They have some idea of where they're going.
Yeah.
I think that in the re-scripting of this, he pulled it off. And it launched, I guess, on Saturday, late Saturday, on Kickstarter, and it got 10% funded within 24 hours. So that's usually a good sign. And I of course backed it. And look forward to seeing what happens next. Originally I read the 3 Mythoverse titles when they came to me in digital, and I really, really liked Adobe Kroger, Changeling was good, and Mythics I was just like, hey, all right, cool. Maybe next issue will be, we'll pick up the thread or something. But I wouldn't have bought it singly. But now they're funding them singly, and with the fixes, I decided, yeah, okay, I do actually want to buy the single issue. So he also, I really liked his attitude and just saying, yeah, I screwed up, and I'm sorry, and I'm going to fix that as best I can. And it's rare that you see something like that. So
well, it's interesting because I have had I have found that to be not so rare among a lot of the people I've dealt with, especially in Comicsgate. I mean, I've always been kind of, after I give someone a bad review here, I'll be like, hope I wasn't too harsh on you, and they're like, usually, oh, no, I appreciate the criticism and stuff like that, and so I've usually found that people, at least, and maybe it's just my experience here,
so far, yeah.
So far, but I found that people are generally open to the criticism. So,
well, good creators understand the value of criticism, because you don't know everything, and you need to get information. You need to understand how other people are perceiving this. You don't know. That doesn't mean you have to change everything to accommodate other people, but you at least you want to hear them out and kind of take it into account going forward. If everyone, like Movie Men, for instance, the end was not meant to be a cliffhanger, but far too many people took it that way. And I said, well, crap. All right, I'm writing another issue.
Well, that's one way to solve that problem. I mean, nothing.
Oh, he's out. Okay. Well, it's still live. This says dads with beards are better because we are, or something.
Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button. Okay. Why don't we bring, because I think JD is now in the...
bring him in.
So let's bring him in. Gosh darn it. What did I just do? All right. Now JD is not in there anymore. JD, where'd you go?
Come back. Come back.
All right. Well, let's see. Let me. Maybe he needs the email. We'll try that. All right. I thought he was in there. Yeah, whatever. And it's loading. Okay. So, I guess while we're waiting, anything else you want to say about Mythics? Because, I like the art. It's good art. I mean, it's and they have some really nice pages here. The pacing's pretty good. Yeah, I just like I've said before, I'm interested to see issue 2.
Yeah. The coloring you see on that page, I mean that's modern coloring, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you could never have done this in the 4-color era. Like you would have had to draw it differently, because you this is made specifically to be dark with that kind of light.
Hello.
And you just didn't get that.
What's up, fellas? How you been?
Hey, man.
Nice to meet you, Jeremy.
Likewise, JD.
Yeah. Sorry for interrupting.
No, not at all. I
was just pointing out that one of the nice things about modern coloring is you can get these very extreme contrasts where you can have darker pages and then light that just almost pops off the page. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the stuff I've seen some guys do is just incredible.
Oh yeah. So let's talk about your book. Do you have something queued up for that, Doc?
I can. Do you have a page you want to, or a screen you want to share, JD?
Yeah. Hold on, Duke. Did that come up?
Yeah, It's right up there.
Okay, cool.
I know almost nothing about this book. Tell me about it.
Okay, so the Oswald Chronicles, based around the character, his name is Oswald. He's a mouse. He's the only animal in his world who can speak or think or write, right? And he's fated to become the greatest sorcerer of his time. But again, he was reborn in the body of an animal. Normally as a human, sometimes as a fae. Okay. And they understand, like the fae that are around us are basically fairies. Mm-hmm. They're invisible to humans, and he lives in the center of Manhattan. He lives on 54th Street and Park Avenue. So he's in the middle of the whole thing. Basically, the story is basically about him figuring out what his life is and what his goal is. He's just trying to figure things out. So basically, as I go through this process, we'll discover more and more of what he is, who he is, what his abilities are, and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. So
who am I seeing in this picture?
If you look in there, right there in the center there, you see an evil sorceress who he's battling, mm-hmm. and you see Oswald right in the middle of that creature there. If you can see the whole, if you scroll down, actually, let me scroll down. I can show it to you.
Yeah.
All right. So is this center graphic right here?
Okay.
That's evil sorceress, and that's him forming this dragon around him.
Okay.
Yeah.
The sorceress looks sort of animal-like. Am I wrong about that, or am I right?
No, you're right. She's an orc, so she's kind of like a pig. It's funny when I told my artist is Jade Gonzalez. I found her years ago on DeviantArt. She's from Chile.
Okay.
And when it comes down to the artists, I tend to give them a decent amount of free reign. I told her, I said, listen, we're going to use orcs and we're going to use kobolds, right? So the orcs, I said, they're kind of pig-like. And, and I said the kobolds, they're kind of dog-like. So she gave me dog and pig people is what she gave me. And I was just like, all right, cool. It works for me. So, I could show you. Let me scroll through here.
Oh, wait, it's like a pig-like orc, so it's a pork?
Exactly. There you go. But this is some of her artwork here.
Okay.
This is the interior of one of the issues.
That's pretty nice. I like it. Now, is it going to be colored or is it black and white?
Well, currently it's in black and white. One of the things that here's the thing. I work through, as far as funding, I'm working through a process. I've self-funded myself. I got the black and white done. So now basically what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to raise capital to get it in color.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then this current iteration, I've already done these through Kickstarter. So I've raised money for this, and I've gotten some work done, and I've gotten these three covers right here on the bottom. Those are by Donnie. I call him Donnie H. It's Hadi Wijaja. I'm pretty sure I'm brutalizing that. The guy's an excellent artist, and he's
where's he from?
This guy's from Indonesia.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, he's from Indonesia, and then the colors are by Carlos Alberto Moreno. He's out of Colombia.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm working with an international cast. All these people you meet online, it's incredible. And then above it, these were Jade's original covers. So those covers are available if anybody wants them. And then the alternative covers, which are the Donnie covers, either of the new ones at the bottom. And then I have them as Virgin covers, and which is, you can see here, just without the logos, or just regular covers, with the logos on them.
Okay. So that you've got the covers colored. Are the interiors going to be colored? How much do you have to raise in order for the interiors to be colored?
At this point, probably about 2,800 per book.
Okay.
Yeah.
So some money.
Yeah. But I've already have a good portion of it colored. We're just moving in that direction. For me, it's a thing of getting the books done, getting the books out there, and just getting more fans. That's why I moved over because I originally was from Kickstarter, and I've been on there I've done like, I don't know, 16 different projects on there so far.
Oh, that's a few.
Yeah. Now I haven't raised a ton of money, but I guess overall I've probably raised about 50 grand. If you add them all up together, right? But all that money I put right back into the project. I don't, maybe I'll buy a slice of pizza for myself. But the rest of it just goes right back into the project. It's all for the artist. Okay. So, so I've raised a good sum of money, but I'm also probably about 950 pages in.
Okay.
So,
is that for all your projects or this one?
No, just this one.
Okay.
So Tall Tales, which is another series I do with my wife, which I don't have anything up for. I mean, we have an omnibus we did for that one. That's 540 pages. We've already done that. That's already been out for a little bit. And right now we're working on the second arc of that story, and that'll probably be 300 or 400 pages.
Now, are you saying all 6 of these comics? How many pages? All 6 of these comics combined, how many pages are those?
Just these?
Yes.
Just these 3. Because they run fairly long. Let's say about 90 pages. Because one I think is 28, one is 30, and the other one's 32. So 90 pages.
Okay, so we're talking about around 180 to 200 for all 6 issues. Then
what you're seeing here is the same issues but with different color covers.
Okay. Exactly. Yeah, these are alternative covers that I'm offering up. Also, the thing is with this is if you look at the Jade covers, they're limited edition. There's 250 copies. They're signed and they're hand numbered. And we keep track of everything. And then like the Donnie covers will be limited edition to 500 copies. Same thing, signed, numbered, and the whole 9. And then once I reach those numbers, I won't be reproducing them in this format ever again.
Okay.
So you won't be seeing them black and white. You won't be seeing them in this comic book. You might see them again in the future as either trade paperback or in color. So those will be the differences.
All right. When I was looking at your campaign, it said numbers 1 to 6. So are we getting just numbers 1 to 3 on this one here, or is it like two chapters per comic? How does that work?
Well, okay. Well, because there's I've already offered up issues 1 through 3. I see. It says 1. So people who have already picked up those can pick up 4 through 6 on their own, and people who are new to it can pick up 1 through 6.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So 1 through 6, then let me ask, how many pages is that?
Probably about 180 pages.
Oh, okay.
I would say roughly. Right. I know the entire story takes up 240 pages.
Wow.
Because there's another 2 issues, and then that's the entire arc. So the entire arc is 8 issues.
Wow.
Yeah.
How far along are issues 7 and 8? Where about?
They're done.
They're done.
They're done. Okay. Like I said, I've been stockpiling material for years. Like I said, mostly I self-finance. I have a day job, so this is my very expensive hobby. I don't do anything else. I don't have kids. So, whatever money I make, I was sticking to this, but also, like I said, I've been making some cash on Kickstarter and I've just been funneling it over to this,
Well, no, the art looks good. I like the, now, you said that Oswald is just trying to figure out kind of who he is.
Right.
Is there, do you have any subplots in there? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
There's a ton of subplots. Okay, so yeah, it's funny. I write these things. I'm horrible at explaining them. Okay, so basically we have a number of things going on. We have, and it's none of these characters, of course, I have up here. So we have a separate group of entities. They're called Guardians, and they're from the Fae. So they're actually looking for Oswald. They know where he's at, and they know he's predestined to end up at a certain place. So they're waiting for him. And there's one. She's a fairy, and she represents the Seelie Court, which is light. And then you have a troll. His name is Ordith, and he represents the Unseelie Court, which is dark. And they're both there to protect him, right? And they're also there to protect others against him, because there's a thing that they're worried about. If he turns bad, they don't know what's going to happen. So they're there kind of like to shield him and protect him all at the same time. So it's one of the many subplots. The other subplot that the actual main plot that's going on is, let me scroll. Okay, well, the main story is when Oswald comes across these two characters, right? And he comes across a brother and sister, and you can see them right here, these two characters on the left-hand side in this cover.
Mm-hmm.
And their kingdom is being taken over by the orcs. The queen, she's a sorceress, and she's managed to manipulate their father, the king. And Oswald just gets embroiled in trying to help them. So, and then during this process, he also finds out that he can manipulate the type of magic that she uses. She uses a type of blood magic where she creates these stones, and she literally steals a portion of a person's soul. And that gives her the power to cast spells. Because in the world that I created, magic requires a price. That price is usually a life force of some form. So what she does is she's able to take someone's life force, put it in a gem, and then use it later. And she's been basically conquering and gathering all these different souls in these gems. The kids manage to steal one. Now, they have one of the gems, but they're not sorcerers. They don't know how to manipulate it. Oswald ends up with the gem in his hand, and something happens. And he's like, oh, wow, we've never seen that. And that's when Oswald discovers, saying he can manipulate the gem. So it'll do certain things for him. And then he's just figuring his way through it. That's why he's able to manipulate and turn into this dragon form, and he's able to do these things. And then, and then the story progresses. That's where we have this other cover on the left and the bottom, where this is the queen in this giant armor, and that's Oswald's a little dragon there. And that's where the two of them are fighting. And that's the main issue story. The very first issue is his origin. It's where he meets this little girl named Sally, and he talks about, Oswald's a scribe throughout the story. And what he does is he writes down his adventures. And he discusses in the very first issue what he went through as when he was first discovering who he was, because he didn't know who he was. He just one day knew he was conscious, and he looked around at the other mice around him, and he was like, why can't any of you guys? Why don't they understand what I understand? You understand? So he started watching TV, and that's basically where he learned how to speak. He started looking over people's shoulders. He could see they were reading, but he didn't understand. And then he met this little girl, and she was about to squish him, but she was like, he started talking. He was like, oh wow, and they became friends. She taught him how to read. She taught him how to write. She taught him how to add and subtract. And she's the one that gave him his name, and she's the one who also gave him his bow tie. So that's the very first issue. So you see the genesis of the character in that very first issue. And then something happens. He has to leave, and that's where he goes into this next adventure where he's off on his own, and he meets these two kids, and they go on this other adventure where where it's literally him versus an evil empress and an army.
So the evil pig empress, or am I wrong about that?
Yes, no, yeah, that's her.
Okay,
right there.
All right. Let me ask about the perks here. So if you were to get it says alternate covers level 2. So you stay at this level, you receive a limited edition of the alternate covers of Passing Queens and Making Homes issues 1 through 6, and then it says the PDF versions. So you'll get the print plus the PDF versions.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. Okay.
Yeah. I'm. It's funny. I know there's a huge debate over print or PDF, right? Because I have just a pure PDF version.
Yeah, it's
level.
just like you can sell some PDFs on. I've done it. Doc has done it on Indiegogo. But if you don't have a print product, people for the most part will just be like, never mind.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's a very I've seen some things get funded on Kickstarter with PDF only. I've very rarely seen it happen on Indiegogo.
Yeah. I mean, what's funny is, I've discussed this with other publishers and stuff. The economics of it, and I would rather sell 1,000 PDFs than sell 1,000 print if I had a choice, because you're gonna make more money on the PDFs, as a publisher. You understand when you take it off,
Well, the printing costs are zero.
Exactly.
Sure.
Exactly. So, but the thing is, though, personally speaking, I love print. So I'll always buy the damn book myself personally.
Yeah.
That's the strange thing about it.
So I only looked at one of these and it said the shipping is free. Is that true across the board here?
It's free in the U.S.
Okay.
Yeah, it's free in the U.S.
All right. So the price is what you see is what you get, people. If
Exactly.
you see the price, you're not going to have to throw any money on top of that. That is what you are paying.
Yep, that's what it is. Because, I mean, I look at it like this. The books are relatively pricey. It's $10 a book, basically. So
Yeah.
the least I can do is just throw in the shipping.
Okay. Cool.
And no pinups or anything, any of the other little swag that we,
it's...
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I didn't offer up any pinups or anything like that. What's funny, though, is that always when I send out these things, I probably should advertise it, is I always throw in trading cards. I always throw in, like bookmarks. And I actually do have a small stack of prints that I've been throwing in for free. And I always do it. And it's just something that when you just get it, you just open it, it'll just be there. Sometimes I'll offer up stickers. But those are usually stretch goals, and I haven't gone anywhere near that.
Do you have any of those within reach?
If you give me a second, I can go grab some.
Sure, yeah. Let's see what you got.
Should we talk smack about him behind his back?
Oh man, so much smack.
So much smack.
Smackity
Smack,
smack.
Smack.
I'm tired. I just mowed the back lawn. It was a bear.
How big's your lawn?
Too big. We're on like a little over a quarter-acre lot, and the backyard is the most of it.
All right. So the prints I have are like these. You can see that.
Just hold it right up there, and can we get just to focus on just you?
Oh yeah.
Just like that. Just wait a second. Just hold it right there. Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
So that's one.
Who's the guy in the background there? You got Oswald, and who's the poodle, or what is that?
Yeah, that's one of the these are the two kids.
Okay.
That he's involved with.
All right.
Yep.
Cool.
And, dude, this is another one, and then this is
That's cool. That's a cool one.
It's that one.
Very cool.
These are just, I just throw them in randomly. So I'll just any set that anybody orders, they're gonna get two of these, but they'll be random. Then I'll also throw in stuff like this. This is
in just a second. We're gonna magnify you.
Okay.
Here, it's upside down. There you go.
There you go. So there's that.
Okay.
There's stuff like this.
Nice.
This was part of a role. There's some kind of card game. I used to go to a convention. I used to go to Anime Boston.
Okay.
And every year they would say, "Oh, join the game." So you could submit your character and give them an illustration and write out a little bio thing, and they will make it a part of this game that everyone could go to the show and collect the cards. So then you would get like 250 of them. And it was like, so for years I've just been handing these things out to people. So whatever somebody sends it, I always sends us out.
That's
so
cool. Yeah.
And then I have these, and these are stickers.
Okay.
So so yeah, that's the stuff. Like I said, for me, it's not even something like I think of as part of the campaign itself, which is probably terrible on my part. But
yeah, on Indiegogo, it just kind of helps if you're like, and the stretch goals are, or
right.
I don't know, or that includes it, or I don't know. Sometimes it just helps.
No, no, of course. No, you're right. I gotta be honest with you. Like I said, I've done 14 of these things.
Yeah.
And all right, you see I'm doing this now, right?
Yeah.
A week before this, I just finished the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Okay. After this, or after that Kickstarter will probably ship out. I should be getting my books in the next couple weeks. After that ships out, I'll probably have another Kickstarter up in another 4 or 5 days.
Okay.
Once this Indiegogo is done, once I've shipped out, I'll probably have another one up within a few days. Like I said, I have a lot of material, and I'm just trying to get it out, and it's just like, it's just nuts. And sometimes I miss over these tiny details, and it's the sort of thing I really got to work on as far as getting everything together.
Yeah. No, the devil is in the details, man.
No, of course it is.
What do you do via promotion? I mean, what is your general like strategy?
We have a mailing list. So
okay.
we have So we've been collecting names for a while now. And so we have a mailing list. We send out a couple of mailers every month. At least once a month, we try to send out, make sure, just to keep everybody updated. And then I'll send out some free PDFs of some stories that I've written, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Very cool.
Also, there's, Twitter I go on, but it's not really my main thing. Facebook, I'm on a lot.
Cool.
DeviantArt.
Okay.
Alrighty. Anything else you'd like to add at this point?
No, that's pretty much it. I mean, and also the thing is this is if anyone's interested, because here's the thing, like I said, I'm all about getting this stuff out to everybody. And me personally, I love reading print as opposed to digital or anything like that. But my website, theoswaldchronicles.com, if you go there, this material's on there. Mm-hmm. You can go read the story for free. It's been up there for a while now. You understand? But the thing is, though, is if you look at these pages, it comes up as just like if you look at the way the bar is cropped. All right, so we got a page. So it would just be this top bar that would be would come up per day.
Okay.
But you could read the entire story. It's there, but it will take. There's probably about 900 different screens you'll have to pull up one after the other. Okay. But it's there. You understand? If you want to read it, get a sense of the story, see if you like that sort of thing. See if you'll enjoy it. It's all there for you. And like I said, I just want to share this work with everybody. I just want everybody to see it. If you want to buy it and support it, fantastic. I love it. If you want to just read it, feel free.
Okay.
Okay, I will post a link to your website as well in our description below. All right, Jeremy and I are going to get back to critiquing comics here. So I want to thank you very much, JD, for showing up and promoting the Oswald Chronicles. I backed it earlier today. I encourage everyone watching to back it as well. Art looks really good. Sounds like a really interesting concept, good story. And again, thank you very much for coming on and sharing it with us.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Jeremy. Guys, take care.
You too.
Peace out.
Thank you, man.
All righty. Let's move back to Lone Wolf now.
Okay, I got to show you something.
Okay.
Just a sec. So we're reviewing Lone Wolf. What's the term? The Tales of Lone Wolf. There you
go. The Legends of Lone Wolf.
Sorry, I was. It was preceded by a book that just introduced Lone Wolf, and this is the first page of that book.
Here, let's hang on a second here, Jeremy. There we go.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yep. They were coloring it. I don't know why I'm in stereo. Come back, Doc.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, here we are.
Okay. But am I in stereo still?
I don't know. I can hear you just fine.
I'm hearing myself twice. That's weird.
All right. Do you have the
these on? I don't know. But point being that the first campaign, they needed to raise a little bit more money to get it colored. I think if I remember rightly, it was like $3,000 was their minimum, and they needed to raise $4,000 to get it colored. And they were close, but it just wasn't moving. And I was getting sick of it not moving. And so I joined with a couple other guys on one of the Facebook groups and said, "Okay, if I throw in for the all in for the troops thing, can I get somebody else to do it too?" And so a few other people did, and we put it over the top and got the book colored. And so, as a thank you, they sent me the first page when they fulfilled that campaign.
Oh, very good, very good.
Yeah.
All righty. Okay, let's get to let's get talking about this one. So you have the first issue then, not the actual Legends. Whatever.
I have both.
You have both. Okay. Some point I would like to see the first issue. So
it's available for free online.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think the black and white version, but yeah, it's free.
Alrighty. Yeah, here's the cover. That's a pretty nice cover. That was I'm sorry to say my favorite part of the book.
Yeah. Doc is not, we're going to hear, is not a fan of this one.
I'm sorry. Unfortunately, I guess it kind of starts with this intro, and that the main character here, Lone Wolf, is a bit of a Mary Sue. I mean, yeah, he can get beaten up and stabbed, but he always comes back to life, and that's okay. But he doesn't seem to have any psychological weaknesses either, or so he's just kind of plotting. He's just kind of going through each story and not he's just not a terribly interesting character to me. I mean, almost a Mary Sue a little bit.
Yeah, I think that term gets overused, and I don't look. What you have here is an anthology with a bunch of different people treating a character, with a bunch of different treatments. I think there are a few of them that, yeah, that's accurate. That's how they treat this character. There are others that's not the case. And it's in an anthology. Usually, just any anthology, the quality or even just what you're interested in is going to vary wildly as you go throughout. And this one was all volunteer, and so it's even a greater variance than what you usually get. This intro is by Jeremy Peerboom, if I remember right. It's just an intro. I mean, it's a it's not a story. It's a kind of a mood setting thing that just says, here's Lone Wolf. I why do I keep at it? Well, I just do, and then you get into it. I think that some of the stories are a better quality than others. I think some of the art is a better quality than others.
Yeah.
And so,
go ahead. Okay. The only story that I really did enjoy was 3 Owls and a Hungry Wolf. And it was interesting. My one thing is, though, it seemed like there were only 2 owls in it. Did I miss something? I must have missed something. I always miss something. Jeremy, set me straight. Were there only 2 owls in this thing?
I think there was at least 2.
Well, I know there were 2. I just don't know if there was 3. So why is the title 3 Owls?
There may be 3. I just wasn't counting the owls.
Well, okay. But at any rate, there's these owl creatures known as the Stakini, and Lone Wolf here thinks that that they are responsible for kids that are disappearing in this area, and he finds one, kills it. It's not responsible for the kids disappearing. He goes after this other owl-like creature, finds it, kills it, and it's not responsible either. And then at the end, there's kind of interesting ending where this kid that Lone Wolf had encountered before is in this wheelchair, and then this priest comes by and realizes the kid is now missing, and then it kind of ends with this, like and this obviously is not a third owl. It's a wolf. Now I don't know, maybe there was a little bit, the title is set a little in jest there, or something like that. But at any rate, it was kind of that story was actually kind of interesting.
It's also wildly open to interpretation. It's just,
yeah,
you're not the ending. It was unsettling to me because I'm not sure entirely what happened. I mean, it's not in a bad way, not in a there's just a bunch of different ways you can take this, and you don't know where your mind is just going to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of the two best stories this is clearly one of the two, in my mind, one of the two best stories in this anthology.
Yeah,
and I think the artwork is very good.
Yeah, I did overall like this one. Then there's this story here, which is I think was a shade of gray, and I didn't care much for the story. This artwork to me kind of looks like very early Beavis and Butthead cartoons. I mean, it really, the very early crude efforts by Mike Mike Judge and yeah. This sucks. Sorry. But no, I honestly just didn't care for this. And I didn't, the art really just, sorry.
Yeah, the art on this one to me did not rise to the occasion.
And then the story didn't either, and there actually was kind of an interesting villain, but and this is kind of a problem throughout the stories, is that he ends up defeating the villain fairly easily. I mean, it's never, at least in this case, he just has to whip out his gun and shoot it.
I think in the previous story that you just showed one where he's even having a hard time finding who the villain is.
Well, that's fair, but in this one,
yes, this is your criticism is bang on the money on this one. The art,
which is rare because usually it's wide of the mark.
Yeah. But the art, it doesn't rise to the occasion. The story had some interesting bits, but it just, I don't think altogether that it worked.
Yeah. All righty, let's move on. See here. I don't remember what this particular one was called. All I could remember was that I couldn't figure out what was going on in a bunch of pages like this.
Yeah,
it didn't make any sense to me. And frankly, at the end of the day, the story just didn't make a lot of sense to me. I couldn't, the art wasn't that good, and the story was very confusing.
The art, it was really interesting because it has some goodness to it. It's not well finished. But if you go through, there are bits and pieces. It's like you'll find one panel that's really good, next to another one that, yeah. I mean, I agree on this one. I didn't follow the thread all the way through. But I do think the art was better than what you've seen in the previous one.
Yeah. All righty. Let's see. This one wasn't bad. The art here has some potential, but like you see these problems here, like in this panel here, he's shoving his samurai sword through this creature's head, but it looks like they're both standing still. There's he's not. It doesn't. I do not look like this. It looks like a tomahawk steak almost.
I mean,
a tomahawk steak sitting on a plate. It's not clear that he's thrusting upward. Now this panel down here,
I kind of think that the eyes popping out, I'm willing to give it a little bit of leeway because of the eyes popping out. If you thrust something up through there, the eyes are going to pop out.
Yeah. Okay. I can kind of see that, but I just don't think it has enough movement.
I think, look, the art on this one is, it's, like the guy, his skill set is, he's an amateur artist. That's not a bad thing. I'm just saying he's an amateur, but he's trying really hard, and I think he, in many ways, does rise to the occasion. I'll just say
sometimes, but then you get, this creature does. In other panels like this one down here, it's not bad, but this here again, I all of a sudden I get in this. Stop it! I'm getting this Beavis and Butthead again, kind of really rudimentary here. This is not just kind of looks not threatening to me. I'll say that. So,
okay. But that one does. Here, should you go back?
The bottom
part, I'd be threatened by that.
Okay, very true. There was I think I'm skipping ahead here. There was one story in between this that actually the art was so-so, but the story was kind of interesting. It was with those little creepy demonic children, and
that was the either first or second best story in the book.
yeah, I'm sorry, I skipped over that. I must have, but sorry. Well, actually, hang on here. Let me try to rectify that real quick. Oh wait, well, no, there were two others. And I think this I actually didn't. It came after this one.
Okay.
Hang on just a second here. I'll Okay, I will bring that up in just a second. But this here isn't. Kind of depends on what you're going for here, but this actually isn't a bad splash page. I mean, there's good movement, action.
I was going to say, I bet you liked that page.
I actually did I did like this page. The story has potential. I mean, it was this weird thing where he's on this spaceship and he's trying to stop this witch, and he does it by getting the spaceship far enough away from Earth. Earth is the source of her power. She's far enough away from Earth. She doesn't have any power. And he gets out of her where the other witches are on Earth. So he goes back and he destroys them. And it's not a bad, the story idea is not bad. And there's some good art like this. It just, it needs some more development a little bit. And
how many do you have any other images of this story, or is this the only
no,
one?
That's the only one I grabbed.
The funny thing, like this actually looks pretty good. But this is the one where the coloring job, and I don't mean this as an insult. It looks like it was colored with a crayon or a pastel or something like that. Like it's not what you would expect. And sometimes it worked really well, and sometimes like this works pretty well. And sometimes you're just going, what just happened?
Now, let me see if I can find one of those real quick.
Like, I agree that this story was an ambitious story. And I think it paid off. I would have liked to have seen it just as an editor. I would have liked to have gone through it and worked over the material a little more.
I think maybe this page here, like there's some parts where you're like, what just happened in this?
Yeah.
Like the bottom of the screen there. So
yeah,
like this here, that panel there is not great, but there, like I said, there are parts of this story where the art I thought was really good. This looks not a fan of this either, but. Okay, let's go to the one with the creepy children here.
Yeah, and it's a manga style of art, and some of the
well, like this here was I kind of like come play with us. I did like that. That was not bad. And there is there's the basics of a good story here. Some I think it was minor loggers are disappearing. Yeah, and they're trying to stop them. It's just that I think toward the end, what was going on toward the end was a little where they actually try to kill the
lone wolf.
Yeah, that was a little hard to follow exactly.
Okay.
And now that said, this right here is some that is a very nice image. I like that a great deal.
Yeah. Look, I think that there's two of these are good stories with good artwork, just period. And I think the rest of it's a mixed bag, a very mixed bag. And sometimes, and there's things that you'll get a good story with either suboptimal artwork or coloring that's just interesting, or not a great story, or a bad story with bad art, or not a great story with bad art at least.
Yeah.
And that's what you get with a lot of anthologies. That's how it goes. But I was happy with, a couple of these stories. I legitimately did like quite a bit.
And this was from the final story. Hang on here. Let me bring this up. I couldn't even, half the time, I couldn't quite understand what was going on in this story. And it had some very weird art. If you like weird art, this is the art for you. But again, just wasn't doing it for me.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Not my cuppa, as they say.
No. Okay. Well, yeah. On balance, I'm just, I just unfortunately, I just didn't like the anthology very much. I think there's a lot of people that were working on it that have potential. And I'd like to see further efforts from them, but on balance, I just, if he puts this on, I couldn't recommend this comic to somebody else. Sorry.
I mean, I guess it just depends on what you're looking for in an anthology, right? And what you're saying, totally valid. I get it. I don't disagree. But if what you're looking for in an anthology is, I want at least a couple of stories that made me go, or yeah, then this was a success for me. But that doesn't mean that there weren't failures, and there were quite a few of them.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else, sir?
Keep making comics, people.
All right.
Keep reading them.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone who showed up. We'll be back again next week with some more comics and some more guests. So until then, have a wonderful evening. Bye.